Hi, this is my story of how I used to have mental illness, addiction to drugs, medication. I was a wreck. I so from a young age, I'll start from when I was a young girl. I come from a very broken family. I dealt with a lot of rejection, felt different than everyone in my family. I heard things like, "You'll never amount to anything." I started watching pornography at a young age, masturbation. I started smoking weed and drinking at a young age. When I say young, I'm saying like 11 and up. Like sex, drugs. I became very destructive in my relationships, friendships. It all just was terrible. Partying, never feeling loved or fulfilled. The mental illness got so bad that I wanted to take my own life. I wanted to die. I would have outbursts of wrath. I would want to smash my head. I would smash my head. I would writhe on the floor, crying, ripping out my own hair. I was just doing drugs just to self-medicate. On top of taking medication, on and off would be on medication. I started doing, after I had my children, I had started taking painkillers. Painkillers led me to heroin. For a few months I was doing heroin. The withdrawals were so terrible that I remember crying out, writhing in pain and sickness in my bed, and I said, "God, if you're real, help me know how to get clean. Not just for me though, for my children, so they don't have to see me like this. I don't want to ruin their lives." One day I woke up, a couple weeks later, and it was about January 2010, I started to go to this clinic to get methadone. I started to take this day class for behavioral health, and I continued with that for a few weeks. I got to the point where the methadone was just a drop in a cup, and the whole time they want to increase the methadone, but I just kept refusing. I kept saying no, make it lower, make it lower. And so I finished that, and I was clean. I was off of methadone. I remember walking one day, and it seemed like I was walking through clouds, like cloudiness, and then everything was clear. It's the most strangest moment. I was like, what was that? After a few months, I had gotten off of the methadone. I didn't need to be there no more. I didn't get like a graduation certificate or anything like that, a certificate saying that I was done. I don't know. Like, I think other people do, but I didn't get that. And I ended up going to this doctor, and he found me, we got on a schedule of medications for my ADHD, bipolar, all these things that I had. And I was smoking pot, like so much weed. I smoked like 5-6 blunts a day. Really. Watched so much TV. So for years, from that time, so from 2010 until 2000, about the end of 2018. I pretty much had no friends. I had no phone. I shared my phone with my husband. I didn't really need a phone. I spent so much time watching so much TV, smoking weed, feeling horrible side effects from my meds. I didn't want to get out of bed. There were times where I just couldn't even get up and to brush my teeth because I felt so weak, so tired. I had no strength. I had no will to do anything. And still, the pills didn't take away the thoughts to harm myself, to just kept hearing things like, you're worthless. In my head, you're worthless. Just take your own life. You're never going to be anything. You've wasted your life. All these things. About the end of 2018, I'm watching lots of ghost shows, ghost hunting shows. And I'm noticing that there's a spiritual realm. There's something in the spirit. There's something that we can't see. There's something after this life. My mom starts telling me how she moved down to South Carolina. She starts telling me about Jesus. And I'm just like, how? I'm listening to this woman talk to me, and she's not on medication anymore. She's joyful. She's a different person. I'm like, who are you? How? Why? How are you like this? I pulled staples out of her wrists when I was a child. Her depression was so bad. She was an alcoholic, all these things, and she was a different person. Who are you? How did this happen? It was Jesus. So my husband had gotten me a phone in the end of 2018. I started watching YouTube videos. I was led to this website called Spectral Intelligence Solutions or something like that. And I clicked on this link that said, do you want to talk to spirits? I was like, yeah, sounds so cool. And it started to tell me about how they're not spirits of dead people, that there's a heaven and there's a hell. And that dead people can't talk to us. That those ghost hunting shows, they're talking to demons. And it hit me. It was truth. I was just hit with truth. I knew that what they were saying was true. I wanted to know Jesus. I started reading prayers on their website, prayers for forgiveness of sin, what they call the sinner's prayer. I started doing prayers for generational curses. I mean, I wanted to do anything to get rid of the mental illness that I was listening to binaural beats. I was listening to these different things that weren't bringing. I never tried yoga, but I tried doing the sounds and the things that they do for the chakras and things, and that none of that stuff helps. None of that helps. None of it cures. Though nothing will take away those thoughts. Nothing. The pills don't help. The drugs don't help. Nothing helps. But I'm listening to these. I'm doing these prayers. I'm listening to these videos about Jesus. I'm reading. I'm starting to read the Bible. I'm started in the Old Testament, which didn't make any sense because I was new in the Lord. None of it made sense to me. And I hear a voice say, read about Jesus. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I just heard a voice say, read about Jesus. She's like, so read about Jesus. So I started reading about Jesus. I started in the New Testament. And I just kept going. No matter what anything around me was saying. I mean, I literally would turn the TV. And I remember this guy, Bill Maher or something. was walking around doing interviews with people about how they could believe in Jesus Christ. Why? I mean, it made no sense. You're just talking trash about Jesus Christ. Nonetheless, I kept going. I kept going. I keep reading the Bible. I keep reading this little book my mom sent me every day called Jesus is Calling. I started crying out, like loudly, confessing my sins. Lord, I did an abortion when I was 13. Lord, I had sex. I've done these things that I've done all these things that your word is saying that I shouldn't do. I've done all these things. How could you love me? How could you want me? And of course, I would hear, he'll never forgive you. All these different things. Nonetheless, I kept going. I kept seeking him, and it was hard. And I was taking all these pills, and I hated these pills because everything would bother me. The side effects to these medications would, my mouth was always dry from the ADD meds. And I abused those meds, terribly addicted to those medications. And the other ones, just all these things, sights, the light would bother me. I didn't want to be out in the sun. Sounds would bother me, just anything loud. My nose, I would have like allergies to things I never had allergies to before. It just would bother me. I just would want to go home. I just always wanted to be in my bed in my room, that's it. So after I had confessed my sins, I had cried out to God, I had started feeling more peace and joy. And at one point, I start reading about how Jesus is the second Adam. And I was like, what? What? It was so awesome. I just felt like this electric feeling through my whole body, and I jumped up and I started jumping for joy, thanking Jesus Christ that what we were born into, we were born into sin. Now he's that life-giving spirit. And he made me feel so great. And I started speaking in this language. I didn't even know what I was saying. It was amazing. Amazing. I was still taking pills. Inside I said, you know what? I really felt like God wanted me off these pills. I got on my face, I cried, I said, Jesus, do I stop taking these pills? And I heard a voice say, no, you need them. Kept taking the pills, but I didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. I remember opening up one day to a fast. Before I get to the fast, let me just tell you about one day I'm reading, I open up and I see in the book of Job, and the Lord shows me, remember when you cried out 9 years ago, you said, God, help me know how to get clean. Well, I come to this passage in Job, I believe it's 33, chapter 33, around 15 through 18, the verses, and it says, in the night when man's sleeping, God will open up the ears of the man and install instructions to keep their soul from the pit. And I was like, what? For 9 years I walked around saying, I got myself clean. I was like, I'm sorry, Lord. I was a liar. I did not get myself clean because God installed those instructions. I just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to the clinic. I'm going to get methadone and I'm going to go to this place. And he showed me that he is the one who gave me those instructions. He answered my prayer according to exactly what I said. Help me know how to get clean. I didn't even know what deliverance. I didn't say, God, deliver me right now and cure me. No, I said, God, if you're real, help me know how to get myself clean. He answered my prayer exactly the way I asked it. So moving on, I need to get off these pills. I'm tired of this. I'm a slave to pills. The Bible says that who you're a slave to, I just wanted to be free. I read Jesus Christ said, who the Son sets free is free indeed, and I wanted to be free. Free of those pills. Free. And I opened up to Isaiah 58, and it talks about a fast that breaks the yokes of bondage. I didn't know what fasting was. I'm still drinking my coffee every day, still drinking. I was drinking coffee, ginger ale, water, but I wasn't eating. And at the end of 6 days, and I believe it's around all this time frame, I decided to just throw my pills in the trash. I think this is around April. About March is when I had that experience where I started speaking in a different language. And I think it was about April, May, when I needed to get off these pills. It was so prominent, I need to get off these pills. So I threw them in the trash, and the pills, I heard a voice say to me, don't worry, you can come get me later. What? What did I just hear? I paced around my kitchen like, what is going on? I grabbed those pills out of the trash, go to the bathroom, and I toss them in the toilet, and I watch them melt away. Just dissolve. And my ears popped so hard, so loud. And I received my freedom. I was no longer addicted to them. I didn't need them anymore. I stopped taking them. I put all my trust and faith in Jesus Christ. I was free. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed.